Hey, what's going on, guys? Swink here today on behalf of the Swink Agency. And as you can see, I have a special guest with me today. Brought my good friend along, Mr. John Miles. How you doing today, sir?
Doing great, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. So John and I have worked together on many projects before. And, you know, this guy has a lot of insight when it comes to, you know, entrepreneurship, you know, just getting out there and hitting the ground running. And so we have a lot of deep conversations, and one of the conversations that we've been talking about lately is to vote or not to vote. So, John, let's go and get into it, man.
Okay.
You voting, right?
Yes. I definitely plan to vote.
Okay.
And what about you? Do you think you'll be voting this go around?
I definitely won't.
How is it a definite?
Because, and I have to be honest here, John.
Okay.
I just feel like it's just a hamster wheel. I appreciate our ancestors for everything that they did to give us the right to vote and, you know, all of that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But just from what I see, I don't see their hard work into what I see as voting today. I just see like they're just trying to promote. I feel like both sides are kind of playing together, to be honest with you.
Okay. Then how do you think change is made?
I think change is made independently. And what I mean by that is I don't think there's a politician that could just, one politician that could just boom, everything change. Now they might have, you know, power to move some things around, but I think it takes the people as opposed to just a politician.
Okay, and that's my point. Mm-hmm. Because people are the ones who select the politicians.
True.
And it takes people.
Is it true? Do you think that we absolutely?
I do. And the problem is we always look at voting from the top, from the national thing, for you electing the president. Mm-hmm. But voting actually starts at the bottom, at the local level, because all politics are local.
Okay.
It starts with the people that you choose to have at the school board where your children are attending school. Mm-hmm. You have a say in who those people are. You have a say in the people who are going to govern the area around you. You have say in all of those things, but when it comes to voting, the only thing we think about are the big national elections. And where so many people are involved in the process that you feel that what you do does not matter. But I say that it does matter, regardless of what level, be it the lower level or the high federal level, because number one, it's your right. You have a right to this, and if you're not using your rights to get things done or make changes, then I feel it's hard to have an argument to say that things are not progressing. They're not progressing because you're not helping them progress. And if you take a stance to where you say you're definitely not going to do it because you feel it doesn't represent the people, then you're right. Because we've had elections in various parts of the country, especially the local elections, to where 300 or 400 people determined something that was going to affect over 18 to 20,000 people. Because that group of 18 to 20,000 didn't feel it was important enough to get out there to use their right to vote. And you let a small minority of people determine the things that are going to be happening in your community, when the majority, if they took an interest, they would be able to help determine and make a whole lot of changes, but we're just not involved in that way.
Okay, so I hear exactly what you're saying, and we've always had this conversation back and forth.
Yes.
Like it's even funny at this point. But you know, I do believe that at some point it does count. like you said, like on your local level and stuff like that, because you can actually kind of see that, right? But I think it gets fuzzy for me, and I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, when you start adding all these different people into it, these districts and this, that, and the third, and you go over here and vote, and I'm gonna throw a curveball at you too. And while all of that is going on, you hearing over here that these machines ain't even counting 50% of the votes, and this place over here, the machines are down. And it's just so much confusion. You don't know what's going on. You don't even know if your vote is really counting for real. You understand what I'm saying? Now, you know when you go inside and you do what you do, don't they hand you like some type of slip or something like that?
Well, yeah, you have to, first of all, present your ID. And then they look you up on a register to make sure that you're voting in the right place. And then you get a slip to verify all of your information.
So.
And then you go and you're allowed to, then you do you vote for your candidate.
And I'm bringing this home, but I want to ask you, so what are your thoughts on people rigging the machines and hearing that type of talk where, you know, people are getting sent away, all type of just different things that, that said that this isn't a fair voting process.
Okay. What are my feelings about that?
Yeah.
I think that it has been very effective because it has turned people off to not want to vote. It's a deterrent because it's suppressing the vote.
So,
because it's telling people, it's putting all these, see now, you've never been through the voting process.
I have.
You have?
I voted for Obama, actually, the first time.
Okay.
I voted. I went out, went through the whole ordeal, voted, all of that.
Did that hurt?
No, it didn't hurt me at all. It didn't hurt me at all. No, look, I wanted to do it, like, and I think that was at the same time the turning point for me after I voted.
Okay.
Because even though he won, you know, I was all for it and everything.
Right.
But I can't honestly say that Obama did everything that I thought he would do. You know what I mean?
Right.
For you know, us.
Okay. Well,
I don't know what I was looking for.
Yeah. Well, and I understand that. I understand that point exactly. Because for one, this was the first time anybody like us has ever been in that position.
I got a theory on that too, but I'm gonna let you finish.
That was the first time. And I feel because he was the first person. Well, as far as I'm concerned, he's the darkest person I've ever seen out of all of the people that ever been photographed and put in that office.
Right.
He's the first that I've ever known to be a person. Now, although he is biracial, to me, he is the first person of color.
See, that's what
that has been in that position.
It wasn't Tyrone in them, man. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't John in them.
Well, but what difference does that make? You had somebody that was in there that looked more like you than anybody else had.
This is true. And it felt wonderful. You understand what I'm saying?
And my thing is, people, the first person of color in any place, be it a corporation, be it in politics, there's always this expectation that this person is coming in and they're going to just change the world. And I feel that is...
I wasn't putting that on them though.
Well, I'll go back to what you said. You said that he didn't meet the expectations that you thought he would do for us.
I believe for me, it wasn't not necessarily what he said, but what he didn't say. You know what I mean? Like, what you didn't really hear. Like, and that's no knock to him. This ain't no Obama knock at all. I respect the man, you know what I mean? Beautiful family, did his thing. He did it with so much class. Like, that's a true definition of a classy man, you know what I mean? So I have nothing bad to say about him. It's just that, you know, I understand, or at least from my understanding, I'm looking at what team you play for.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And when I look at the team that you play for, and I look at who else is playing for the team. I think y'all running neck to neck. Now y'all ain't gonna tell me that, but you know, from what I'm seeing, it's like we're always left out of the conversation. Now a lot of people say that's because we don't bring money to the table with an agenda and all of that stuff. A lot of people say, you know, it's not designed to help you. You know what I mean? But who knows?
Those are good points.
But remember that curveball I was talking about too?
Hey, what's your curve?
So here's a curveball. A young lady, I remember, what was the lady running from governor? Stacey
Abrams.
Stacey Abrams, right?
Right.
I remember a lady came up to me and she asked me just what you asked me at the beginning of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to vote today? Mm-hmm. And I said, if I have to be honest with you, I'm not voting today.
Okay.
And she like jumped down my throat, like, what you mean you're not gonna vote? Like, your people fought for you to vote, this, that, and the third. I said, because I just don't believe, I think it's smoke and mirrors.
Right.
You know what I mean? And lo and behold, everybody went out and voted that day, right?
Right.
When they came back, they tallied up all the votes. Mm-hmm. They said she won, right?
No.
I heard they said she won.
No.
That's what everybody was telling me. They said all the numbers were saying that she won.
No.
Then the I don't even know his name.
Who, the current governor?
Yeah, what's his name?
Now that you said that, I slipped my mind. But I understand the current governor.
He wanted a recount. They did a recount. All of a sudden, I won. Going in the office. So the next time I saw her, I looked at her like, so what happened? And she couldn't really say anything.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by the smoke and mirrors, man. I feel like it's just a game. Because how can you come back? How can you be losing? Do a recount, unless it's just neck to neck. Do a recount and all of a sudden you just blew them out the water. You blew her out the water. That don't even make sense to me.
Okay. Well, I don't really know about, because I never heard that she had numbers to where she was winning. She had enough numbers to be close enough to where they couldn't determine who the winner was without having a runoff.
That's what you heard?
Yes. And because they were challenging the...
So why they come back and do a recount then? Because that happened.
They had to do, well, because they were filing suit in different counties saying that all of the ballots that were collected were not being counted. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the reasons why. And another reason why is that when the person that's the current governor, he was also at the time the current Secretary of State who could say whether the election...
Wait, say that again?
The person that was running for governor, at the time he was running for governor, he was the current Secretary of State.
That isn't a conflict of interest?
Yes, that's a conflict of interest. And that was one of the things that made the whole election process so skeptical, because he had went in and purged X amount of people off voters' rolls, so off the roll. But my thing is, just because people are doing things to make you not want to vote, I feel that should make you want to do it even more so, because they're trying everything that they're trying to do to discourage you not to vote. You've already bought into it and you don't.
Or maybe they should restructure the whole voting process.
But that's not going to happen anytime soon. And all you have is what you have right now. And that's why I asked you, when you voted for Obama, did it hurt? Because it did. How long did it take you to even go through the process?
Man, I think it might have took me all but 20 minutes.
So 20 minutes of your life just to do one little small thing.
But that's not the problem. I don't have any problem with the process as far as going to do it.
Then
I just want to make sure.
Why not do it?
When John vote, it say 1. When Rico vote, it say 1.
Okay, then
Like if John votes and it says 0, Rico vote and it say half.
But
like
you don't know that.
I don't, but
I can tell you this: if you don't vote, it says Rico 0, regardless of what you do. At least I know if I go and make that attempt,
right.
At least I know within my mind, hey, I did my one thing, because for one, it is your civic duty. You as a citizen, that is part of your civic duty to do that.
And I just got out jury duty, man.
Yeah.
No.
You said you just got off of jury duty. How'd you feel doing that?
I felt good.
Why?
Because for one, I was summoned, so it ain't like I couldn't show up.
True.
But it felt good seeing my opinion matter in the conversation.
Okay.
Whether to send this man to prison or not.
All right. And because you participated in that process, you were able to have a say in what happened to that person, right?
That's true.
Now, just as in voting, because you had to do some type of voting process in jury duty, did you not?
What do you mean?
Y'all had to vote on what you felt about that.
Yeah,
person.
anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
I know I just butchered that, but y'all know what I mean.
However, you were still part of the process and it made you feel good.
100%.
Then that's why I'm saying it's important for us to be a part of all civic processes. It's important that we do it. And yes, there are things and ever since we've had our conversation, I felt it was my responsibility to reach out to you and speak to you about voting in a non-emotional way. Because people will look at you and start screaming and hollering, you should vote, but that's not giving you a reason to. That's just shouting.
And see, I'm glad you brought that up too, because I honestly feel like if someone doesn't vote, don't harp on that person. If somebody votes, don't harp on that person. Like, allow that person to do what they want to do as long as it's not bothering you. You know what I mean? Like, John and I, we agree on many things, but we're not gonna agree on everything. So if we disagree on something, that don't mean that he's not my boy, I'm not his boy, whatever. Like, we're just having a conversation. Now, if he says something where I'm like, I ain't think of that before, I'm gonna tell him, like, yeah, maybe I should jump back out there. Maybe next time I will go vote, who knows? But, as of today, this is just how I feel. But, the more we have these conversations, the more that I get a little bit more wisdom about that mindset, you know what I mean? Because I've always heard in school, voting is the way, this is your right, I'm all for it. I just don't like the BS that I hear comes with it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Again, I don't mean to sound like a recorder, but I just honestly feel like if this process was fair, everyone would participate in it.
Right.
But because I think that does shy people away. I think that does push people away.
It does. And the people that, things have been done to put barriers in place so that you don't vote. Our elders had a lot more difficulty than we do today.
Most definitely.
However, because remember, I don't know who said this, but there's this thing that says if you don't know your history, then you have a tendency to repeat it. For sure. It has a tendency to repeat itself. For sure. And because we do not know our history, a lot of our young people do not. They've seen the Martin Luther King videos and all of that struggle, and that's only in February when they have Black History Month.
The shortest month of the year. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Because of those things, we don't realize that now they're putting those very same things in place, or even trying to put those very same things in place to discourage you from voting now. And it is very effective.
Okay.
because they were saying that in the 2016 election, one of the candidate that won, their main intent was to put things out there, especially in social media, to discourage people of color from voting.
All right, so now I gotta hit you with this. I gotta put you on the spot, Mike.
Okay.
Did you or did you not vote for Trump?
Oh, I did not vote for Trump. No, sir, I did not vote for Trump.
But
However,
he's still the president, right?
yes, he is, and that's because of the type of system that we have.
But
The type of system that we have, the Electoral College,
okay, oh, I'm glad you brought that up.
is designed, was the way is what we have, and that's how he ended up winning.
All right, so let me ask you this: by Trump winning, what did that do? Did that stop you from getting your money?
Stop me from getting my money.
Stop you from moving, from doing what you need to do, from doing what you want to do? Has his presidency, you know what I'm saying, stopped you from doing anything that John wanted to do? Because it ain't stopped Rico.
No, it hasn't. However, I don't think the policies and the way that he is going about governing with his administration is helpful for me, people of color, or actually this nation
Speak on
altogether.
Speak on what you mean.
Well, he was put in office because people felt like you did. They were tired of the regular process, so they said, let's throw this outsider in there to shake things up, because by shaking things up, it should get us to reevaluate the process, all of the processes, and will allow change to come. He came in and he just destroyed all of the different processes that, well, I won't say destroyed, he just he does not want to work within the guidelines that is set and the way that things are supposed to run. And if the different arms of the government would actually work like they were supposed to, instead of putting their party over country, he would have fallen in line, and I believe he would have fallen in line, and he would administer his administration in the rules that it is supposed to work. But because of partisan politics, all of that is out of the window.
See, my point to the whole Trump situation is, I just honestly feel like no matter what you do, like me as one man, I can't do anything as far as who they put in that office in Washington, D.C., this, that, and the third, right? They're going to do what they want to do. So you know what I got to do? I got to make sure that my situation's straight. I got to make sure that my family's straight. I got to make sure that whatever is thrown my way, I have to be able to maneuver, right? Mm-hmm. That was going to have to happen regardless if it was Trump, him, her, whoever, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's just why I don't really put a lot of energy into that whole argument of I'm voting for this person, I'm voting for this person, because at the end of the day, that's a man that's putting his pants on just like me.
Right, but see, what you also have to understand is he might be at the top of the ticket, but there are also local things that are happening that can affect you locally.
If America really cared about getting everybody on one accord, and which they don't, let's just keep it a buck. If America really wanted to get everybody, like no homeless people, nobody working below $15 an hour, no, like just this whole ordeal of progressiveness, you wouldn't vote a different president every 4 years or every 8 years, or however you want to do it. You would have one person in there that this would be the rule. You know what I mean?
Okay, so now you're talking about monarchy.
I ain't saying that's the way.
But what you just described as a king.
Every 4 years, you want to give me a new face
with
a new agenda, with new tennis shoes, with new this.
Okay, see, now I have a problem. The problem is that we don't know our history. We don't know how our country is set up. We don't know the different way that things are supposed to govern. If we had a true understanding of that, then you wouldn't be saying you would not be saying that you want one person.
I'm not saying that's what I want.
Then
what I'm saying is, if America was serious about culture, right? If it wasn't a such thing as an African American, Asian American, a Latino American, if it was just Americans, right? Because when you go to Paris, what they say, I'm Parisian.
Well, no.
They don't say I'm a black Parisian. I'm a black.
But see,
I'm a white.
Only a person that is of French, that was born there, can be French.
So same thing should be said for here, right?
No.
If you're born here,
no,
you're American.
No, I disagree because.
But shouldn't that be the idea, though?
No.
Tell me why.
Because this place is made up of immigrants, of people from different cultures.
Is it?
Yes.
I mean, now, but I'm talking about.
Okay, then, because
when they say.
Then the true Americans are your Native Americans.
Yes.
Native
and they were
Americans.
already here.
Yeah.
They were already here.
Yeah.
So you can't discover something that was already here.
They're not saying they discovered anything.
No.
It was the people that came here that said they discovered something.
That's my point. I'm Native American on both sides.
So
I totally understand.
But see, that totally negates your argument that we shouldn't be, whatever culture we are, we shouldn't put that culture into being an American, because there is no such thing as just one straight up American. It's a mixture of things.
True, but all I'm saying is the idea, right? If you go to Great Britain, it don't matter who you talk to. I'm British.
If you went to live there, they would not say you're British.
Well, I'm in my head, so I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I just
feel like if you go to Africa,
that's the beauty. That's the beauty of the United States.
Every African I've ever met, they tell me I'm African.
But see,
they might tell you, like, you know, what part, this, that, and the third.
But see, and that's the thing about it, because Africa is a huge continent. So, and most of the time, they will tell you exactly where they're from. I'm Nigerian. They won't say I'm African. They'll tell you I'm Nigerian. I'm Ethiopian.
That's true.
They won't say I'm African.
That's true.
They say where they were culturally born from, and we're the ones who call it Africa.
Right.
Because it's a whole continent, but it's made up of different nations.
Okay, so scratch all that.
Okay.
Let's say in America, we could just, John isn't an African American. Carl isn't Latin American. Carl is an American. John is an American. Like, imagine if that's what it really was. Like, the idea of that, because you were born here, you have every much right to be here as anyone else that was born here. This is your land too. This is your freedom. This is all of that. You're involved in all of that. Imagine if that was the idea. And that would bring unity within this country. Not saying overnight, not saying it's gonna happen, but I'm just trying to spark an idea that in my head makes sense to me.
Okay, so
I'm not itching to call myself an American. Let me say that too. But the thing is,
because now you're negating your own point.
I'm not. All I'm saying is an idea. I can't negate my own idea because it's just an idea that doesn't exist. I said if it did exist, if everyone woke up, if you brought up a new generation of kids and all you told them was, all y'all American, no matter, ain't no color. Ain't no color. All y'all American. When they grow up, what they gonna think?
I don't know.
They gonna think they're American, and that's it. They gonna see John they're American. They go see Bob, they're American. They go see Lisa, they're American.
Well, what's that got to do with voting?
When you need it, then.
Okay,
Man,
wait a minute, man. Wait. First of all, the country is based upon the Constitution.
Yes.
Because you gotta have rules and laws to keep and to govern and keep you a civilized society.
Right.
So that document is the Constitution. And the Constitution is what the president, the Congress, and the judicial system, that's the only article and thing that they are responsible for and upholding and protecting. Not the people, it's that document, which are your guidelines, your rules, and your bylaws. That's what makes us American, that piece of paper. And until you understand that piece of paper, then you have no idea what America is about. Because of where the forefathers, George Washington and them, everything that they came from under, an authoritarian government in Britain where you had one person who never left office, stayed there the whole time, called a king, ran and did everything.
Right.
So and that's the system you just described. If that system was so great, then why did they leave and come here and start the United States of America?
No, that's a great point. Jay, I'm a problem solver. So I'm just throwing out solutions. Not saying that solution fits us. Not saying that solution would even work.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is, how do you bring people together to be united? That's my question right there.
You bring them together through things that they have in common. And what do you want? You want a nice house for your family. You want to be able to earn a living. You want to be able to exist. So find things that people have in common, put those things out there, and then bring the things, put out things that bring us together, the things that we can see that we have in common. And that will help develop any kind of community.
That's a jewel right there. You just dropped one there. I like that. Please let me know what y'all think in the comments about this whole discussion, man. And feel free to, state your opinion. If I'm wrong, I have no problem saying, hey, I'm wrong. You understand what I'm saying? There's always a better way, but,
But see, it's not really about being wrong. It's about enlightenment. Because some of the things, to back your point, the problem that a lot of communities were running into, and I could tell you an example is, you go to North Carolina A&T, where they had redrawn the map, they drew up a district, and they actually drew a line down the middle of that campus, where if you were on this side of the street, it was one district. If you were on the other side of the street, it was another district. And that was actually drawn that way as a deterrent for people would deter people from voting. But I believe I want to say that it's called gerrymandering, where you are designing things. Basically, it's not where the people in the district are choosing their representatives. The representative is choosing the people, where the process should be different. Because of gerrymandering, I was saying that President Obama, one of the things that he and Eric Holder have been and strong, and what he's using his political capital to do is to address those type of issues in different all across the nation. And they're going and getting those different districts. They're redrawing the map to where the election process would be more fair and would work toward do what you were saying, would do what you were saying wasn't happening. Because what was happening was, regardless of how many people would vote, if the majority of the people were voting for a Democrat, because of the way the district was drawn and set up, they couldn't win regardless. You know, so that's why when you were bringing your point up about not voting, that was what was sticking in my mind, because it you know, led to your facts and things, and I, you know, so that's why I say I want to have these conversations with you, but things are changing. However, I just still feel it's something that we have to do.
All right, so now let's get on 85 and bring it on home.
Okay.
So I was actually on 85 not too long ago, right?
Okay.
And I was watching something on YouTube, and they was basically talking about how the structure of the reason why there's so much traffic in Atlanta today is due to the fact of how the districts and all of that was built back then.
Okay.
That affected everything as far as like the neighborhoods, like you knew where the bad neighborhoods were, as opposed to suburban neighborhoods, and they kept people away out of those neighborhoods.
Right.
Explain that today. Like, we're still dealing with that. It's about to be 2020.
Yeah.
And we're still dealing with traffic is everywhere. And I'm mad from back then. I don't know what happened, but I'm dealing with it right now, John. Every time I back out my driveway, I'm like this. I'm tired of that, man.
Okay. Well, what you're seeing is them not wanting to have the transit system come out into what's now called Metro Atlanta. Because, you know, as the population grows, the metro part of the big city also expands. Because now Metro Atlanta is considered to be this area too. And this is what, Gwinnett County?
Yep.
If they had allowed the transit systems to be developed out in the counties that are now called Metro Atlanta, then we wouldn't have this traffic problem. But the reason they did not want the transit system to go into these suburbs and communities is because they felt that it would bring crime.
And that's why Gwinnett doesn't have water.
They felt it would be crime, but you see the price they're paying for it now.
Yeah, for sure. Because they're talking about in 5 years, it's going to be 9 million people, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 9 million people, but the way that your metropolitan area grows is by bringing companies and work into the area that's growing.
Like Amazon.
But they're not going to want to come.
Amazon got a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, because no one's going to come here if you have a transit problem.
Yeah.
Most companies that are coming, that are trying to relocate, that's one of the things they're not looking forward to.
For sure. Because how's it going to happen?
Exactly. So, because of them not wanting to do the development, it's why we have the traffic problems we have now. And that's why they're on pins and needles when companies are saying that they're looking for spots to relocate. So we don't have it.
My last question to you before we get up out of here. Is there ever going to be a solution for that? To the traffic? Because the people ain't going anywhere.
Oh yeah. They're thinking of solutions now, because now they are thinking of combining the different.
Are they? Because I'm not hearing it.
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, that's why MARTA's name is changing. They're changing that whole build-up of but it's changing into something else.
Man, I'm thinking about buying a helicopter, man.
Well, then
I mean, I don't know what else to do, man.
you be like George Jetson, man.
Might have to be, man, for real, because it's getting crazy out here, man. What are y'all thoughts on Atlanta's traffic? And what do you think could be done so it could be better for all of us, man? But, John, man, it's been a pleasure, man, having this conversation with you today, sir.
Yes, sir.
For sure. Any last thing you want to tell the people before we get up out of here?
No, I just enjoy our conversations. You make me think about things, and there's not any one right answer for anything.
Okay.
But I do feel, and I hope you do, for this upcoming election, I hope you just let it hurt just a little bit to go out and vote. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
And take your kids with you so they can see the process as well.
For sure, for sure. I may consider that, man.
Thank you, brother.
As always, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe, tap that bell so you receive all the notifications when we upload new content. I'm D Swink on behalf of the Swink Agency. This is my guy John Miles, and we out. Hey, did you enjoy this video? Well, be sure to log on to our official website at theswinkagency.com and come see what all we have to offer. We offer everything from business development plans, creative design, marketing, and even event planning. And while you're at it, like this video, share with your friends, and leave us a comment below. Thanks for watching.